Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny, Fruit Market Nodes app and Backend API inside. Today we need to developing this here the order inside assigning here the delivery boy. Users need to assign for these orders for the delivery. We need to set here. First of all, we need this here the creating some new database tables. We need to needs here for the delivery boys. Now first of all, we needs here the locations managements need this here the latitudes and longitudes need to save for the current position, so needs here the another tables for the location details, and another one more tables need to needs for the delivery date and times status wise need to save inside the database which status times need to which times we need to say, calls for the status change. We need to assign here the history. That's why you need to need this here the another one tables for needs order status date times details. We need to also needs here. Now need to first of all open this here the database structures and to create here the needed tables and modify these tables here. First of all, we need to add this here the order details inside the one columns need to add go inside the structures, and we need to select this here the user ID, and then after we need to set this here the one column sets and to give this here the delivery boy ID like this sets here, and to set this here the index we need to set here the by default 0 means here the not assigned for any delivery boys users not assigning here. Like this we need to set here for this order details tables we need to modify for the assigning here the specific delivery wire details need to save here the against the these orders we need to deliver these persons like this we need to managing this years, and now we need to another tables we need to managing this here the locations we need to create here the another tables. Now need to give this here the table name location details, and inside we need to save this here the latitudes and longitudes against here the user ID need to create and to use this here. Now need to need this here the columns we need to put this here the six columns we need to need here create now creating here. Now need to give this here the locations id locations underscore id and auto increments. Now need to give this here the user underscore id means here the give this here the delivery boy id, like we need to set here the configuration otherwise need to give this here the admin means here the owners shop owners need to also need to net this here locations because need to depends on the shops need to comes here the users which locations need to comes, that's why need to also need to admins latitudes and longitudes also need to save here. Now need to another columns need to give this here the latitudes need to set here the varchars 25, and by default need to set here the zero point 0 like here's, and longitudes also need to save here's. Now need to set here the varchars 25, and now need to set here the zero point 0, and now need to set here the created dates need to set here the date times current timestamps need to save here's, and also modify need to give this here the columns data types date times and current timestamps, and now need to save this here the tables for the managing here the locations details. Now another one more tables we need to needs here need to create here the order status need to manage this here the order status. Now creates here the table name order status detail status details, and we need to need this here the columns we need to for columns we need to needs here. And now first of all we need to give this here the set here the orders status underscore id, and to create here the auto increments. Now need to set here the order id, sorry for that, so need to creating here the enters, that's why need to create like this by default set here the 0. Now need to add here the more three columns need to add here, go here. Now first ones need to give this here the order status status, and we need to set this here the 2 by default we need to set here the 0, and then after we need to set this here the created date need to set here the date time, and we need to set here the current timestamp. Then after we need to last ones we need to set here the status set here the one means active, and save this here. And this is the managing like this here. The tables columns need to py columns need to needs order status ID, order status, created dates and status. Status means need to only for the deleting purpose we need to use this here for the status here. Now we need to write down here the assign delivery boy API. We need to making here. First of all, need to go here the app dot post, and we need to set this here the slash API slash admin slash, and to get this here the delivery boy list. First of all, need to needs for here for the assigning for these orders. We need to boy list set here the request response like here need to set here. So now need to call this here the helper.dlog to print this here the request dot body. Now we need to check this here the access tokens. Need to pass this here the request dot headers response, and we need to if here valids then to get this here the user objects we need to returning here for this callback functions, and always access this API only admins. That's why I need to give this type here 3 and to set here. Now here the not pass need to here the any status. That's why I need to not call this here the parameter valids need to check here, but now need to directly call this here the finding here the without any assigns, and without we need to pre-delivery boys list we need to get this years if you assign any orders and not complete delivery, this person is not come for this list like this we need to making here this API. Now we need to write down here the ab.query like this sets, and we need to create here the API slash admins, and to sorry for that need to log this, and to go user details, and we need to write down here the structures SQL select query, and we need to write down here the user underscore ID not in, and user underscore status not status type column is equal to needs and conditions, and status is equal to 1 and not in. We need to call this here the select query, pass this here the user underscore ID, and maybe need to set here the delivery boy ID underscore ID, as we need to set here the user underscore ID like this from detail like this sets here the conditions, and set here the where paste these years need to remove these years for these conditions not is equal to 0 and status is equal to 2 or 3. Create here the brackets for these two status users ID we need to get shares, and to not list out for the getting this query is the easy way for the creating. So now this query are the done, and to put this here for this API we need to put this done, and now we need to create here the brackets and set this here the errors and result. Now we need to check this here if errors, we need to write down here the helper dot throw HTML errors, and response return this here And now need to return this here the response dot json. Need to set here the status and to write down set here the one, and we need to payloads inside and to give these results. We need to unassigned delivery boys who need to get this list for this query and to send against for the getting here the active delivery boy list we need to get here. Now another API need to make here the assign for the delivery boys for the specific disorders we need to set here, and we need to assign this here the status also need to managing this here. Now need to write down here have dot post and to making here the API slash API admin slash need to write down here the delivery boy assign orders for delivery like this. Give this here the API name, request, response like this set here. Now need to write down here the helper dot delogs and to print this here the request dot body, and also need to save this here the request objects inside this request body. We need to save here, and now need to check this here the access tokens. First ones need to pass this here the request dot headers need to pass here, then response object if here this valid, then to get this here the user objects need to return here for this API like here, and only access this API for the admin. That's why I need to pass this here the three at the sets. Now needs here the parameters need to get this API. That's why I need to pass this here the check access need to not any missing parameters need to check here for this API. Now need to write down here the API name. So need to set this here. First of all, need this here the delivery ID, delivery boy ID, the boy ID, and also need to assign this here the order ID. Need to need shares for this API. If here found this parameters inside the API, and we need to call shares like blank callbacks. Now need to assign this here the delivery. Write down here the query. We need to set here the insert query. Not insert, we need to update query, need to call shares. Now need to open this shares again and to find out here the order detail tables, and to go inside here SQLs updates, and we need to remove this here the all things. Need to needs here the only delivery boy ID, and payment also need to clean here, and we need to set this here needs here the status, and modify dates also needs. Now need to set here the order ID and conditions order underscore status, maybe status only like it's question. But this query, now we need to paste this query and set here the question mark for this value, and here set here the now options. Now need to pass this value. First ones need to request dot delivery boy ID, and then after need to give this here the status for delivery assigns. We need to check here the just status here assigned. Need to give this here the two. Then after so need to set this here the order ID. Need to give this here the request object dots. Need to set here the status as a need to set this here the order ID order underscore ID. Then after so need this here the always lower than, so need to assign status, so need to needs for this API Like this, we need to set here the conditions like here, lower than the status, then to assigning this API like this sets here, returning this here the errors and results. Two callbacks we need to get here for this API. Now need to write down here errors helper dot throw HTML errors and response, return these functions. Now need to write down here the DB results dot affected throw, means here the successfully assigned this here the delivery boy more than one, means like this. Else part error message we need to return here for server response status, set here the 0 and set here message fail like here. If this getting here the working goods, then to write down here the update status API also tables here the manage for this assigned status. Now need to write down here the db dot query, and we need to manage this here the this against this orders. We need to go here and to find out here the order status details. Select here the SQLs insert query. Now need to copy here and we need to paste this here this query. Remove this here the order status ID and created dates also no needs. Status also no needs. So need to clean here. So only two value. Now need to set here the two question mark for this API. And first ones need to give this here the order ID status 2. Now we need to set here the request object dot order ID, set here errors and result. If here gets any errors, then to not sending any response, return these functions, not return these functions, and functions inside manage this here the status, set here 1 and message delivery boy assigned successfully. Boys assigned successfully. Like this sets here the message, and we need to save this here. And another one thing, so need to accepting these orders, need to write down here the here not managing this tab because another table to entry manage, that's why it do not set here. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any question, so please write down the comment sections. I will help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.